Separation of mixture. We have studied the separation of two solids by the method of sublimation, moving magnet, using solvent. Then we have started the separation of the solid and liquid, in which we have studied two earlier methods. Now third method is by evaporation. Two earlier methods were, first one was filtration and second one centrifugation, that we have studied. Now third method is evaporation. Now by the evaporation, we can get only one substance. Suppose we have the mixture of salt and water. By the evaporation method, we can get only salt. We cannot get the water. So this method is used to separate the solid substances that dissolve in water. Okay, so the solid substance which dissolve in water, we can get that only one type of substance, which is solute. We will not get the solvent. So common salt and water is added, we will get the salt, we will not get the water. And from the sea water we make the salt by the evaporation method. Okay, then second example of the evaporation is to obtain dye from ink. Now what is basically ink? Ink is a mixture of dye. Dye means various colored components and water. When dye and water are mixed, then it forms the ink. Now if we want to separate the dye from the ink, what we have to do? We have to heat the mixture. In the china dish we have taken ink and we are going to heat it. When we heat it, what will happen? Water will get evaporated and what will remain in the dish, that is the dye. So to separate the dye from the ink, we can use the method of evaporation. So evaporation is done for the soluble substances, but in evaporation we can get only one substance, that is solute. Fourth method of separation of solid in a liquid, that is the crystallization. Okay, so crystallization method is basically used to obtain pure crystal from impure sample. If we are given some impure sample and we don't want impurities, we only want pure crystal, then we can use the method of crystallization. Now in crystallization method, hot concentrated mixture is cooled and after cooling we will get the pure crystal. Means we will first heat it, then we will cool it, and after cooling we will only get the pure crystal, we will not get the impurities. Now for example, if we want to obtain a pure solution or pure crystals of copper sulfate, CuSO4 means copper sulfate, and we have a impure sample. If we have a impure sample of copper sulfate and we want pure copper sulfate crystals from that impure sample, then we have to follow the method of crystallization. But now we cannot directly hit the copper sulfate, because what will happen if we hit the copper sulfate, the crystals of the copper sulfate, it may get charred, means it will burn. So we have to use the method of double boiling or double bath. In this method, the impure copper sulfate solution is taken in one china dish, but heat is not directly given to that china dish. That china dish is kept above the vessel containing water. So we will first take the water in one vessel, and then above to that vessel we will keep one china dish in which we will take the impure copper sulfate solution, and we will provide heat. So when we provide the heat is first taken by the water and that heat is transferred to the impure copper sulfate solution. So heat is not directly passed to the copper sulfate solution. Otherwise copper sulfate crystal will burn. So when double boiling method is used, then in this process the copper sulfate solution will get heat, and after heating we will get the hot concentrated mixture of copper sulfate solution along with some impurities. Now we will allow it to cool. After cooling, what will we see? That the crystals of pure copper sulfates are formed and impurities remain behind in the solution. Means impurities does not get crystallized, impurities remain in the solution, only the pure crystals of copper sulfate are obtained. So crystallization method is basically it is used to obtain the pure crystals from the impure sample of the substance. So this is one more method to separate the solids from the liquid. Now next, fifth method of separation of the solid and liquid mixture is by separation of chromatography. Now chromatography technique is used for separation of two or more dissolved solid, but when they are dissolved in very small quantities. When the solids are soluble in water and they are dissolved in water and their quantity of the solute is very less, then we have to use the method of chromatography. Now, what is the principle of chromatography? See, two or more substances can be soluble in the same solvent. Means we can say salt and water are soluble in salt and sugar both are soluble in water, but their solubility is not same. Both are soluble in the water but at different levels. So this method is basically used for the separation of the solutes. Many solutes can be dissolved into the same solvent, but their solubility is different. So it is clear by taking one example. Suppose we want to separate the dyes from the ink. Now see, what is ink? Ink is a mixture of dye. Dye means colored components. So we have different type of colored component, like we can add the red color. When we say the ink, in the ink there is a red, blue, black, different dyes pigments are present. Suppose we have taken a drop of ink paper on the ink on the chromatograph paper. For the chromatography technique we have paper like a filter paper, but it is different. It is called as chromatograph paper, and on that chromatograph paper we put one drop of black ink and we put it in a water. As it is paper, it will absorb the water and water level will rise up. As water comes near to the ink drop, what will happen? The ink will slowly dissociates, and the solution or the dye which is more soluble, it will start to rise up. So here suppose we say the red is more soluble as compared to the blue. So what will happen when the water rises up? As red is more soluble, it rises up, and blue is less soluble, so it rises as compared to the lower side as compared to the red. So more soluble substances will obtain at the top level and less soluble substances will obtain at the bottom level. So this technique is used for separation of the different solutes which are soluble in the same solvent, but their solubilities are different. Red color is more soluble in the black ink, so we will get the red color at the top as compared to the blue color. We will get the blue color from the ink at the bottom. So there should be difference in the solubilities. That substances can be separated by using the method of the chromatography. So that paper is called as the chromatograph paper. It is very similar to the filter paper. Uses of chromatography. Just we have seen first use, separate pigment of dye from ink. It is also used to find out in small amount of poison if it is present in stomach or urinary bladder. If the poison or any other chemicals or drugs are present in stomach or urinary bladder in very small amount, so it is used to find out and to remove that poison in the stomach or bladder in the forensic science. And it is also used to find out the small amount of chemicals in chemical reaction. In chemical reaction, some products are in larger amount, but some products are find out in very less amount. So if we want to find out that products which are in very small amount in chemical reaction, then we have to use the chromatography technique. Now sixth method for separation of solid and liquid, that is separation by distillation. Now this distillation method is used to separate soluble solid as well as solvent both from solution. Means if you are given a solution of salt and water, and if you do evaporation, you will get only salt. But if you want salt and water both, then you cannot do evaporation. If we want salt and water both from the solution, then we have to follow the method of distillation. So in distillation, we get the solute as well as solvent both. In evaporation, we only get the solute. In distillation, we get the solute and solvent. Means if you are provided a solution of salt and water, if you do evaporation, you will only get the salt. But if you do is distillation, you will get salt and water again, both from the mixture. So for the distillation, we have a setup here, that is the distillation process. So here we have this distillation flask. It is a rounded bottom flask. It is called as the distillation flask. We are providing heat here, and in this distillation flask we have the solution of salt and water, mixture of salt and water, and we put the thermometer for measuring the temperature, because we know water boils at the 100 degrees Celsius. Now here we have this setup. Here we have one glass tube. It is called as the inner glass tube, and here we have one more glass tube. It is called as the outer glass tube, or it is also called as the condenser. And here we have one flask. Now see here, what will we do? We will put the mixture of salt and water in the distillation flask, and we will heat it. We know water is in liquid state. When we provide the heat, water at 100 degrees Celsius, water will get converted into water vapor. This water vapor, as it is in gaseous state, it will enter into this inner glass tube. See, this inner glass tube does not have any contact or any leakage in the outer glass tube. The material which is in inner glass tube remain only in the inner glass tube. So this water vapor from this distillation flask will only enter into the inner glass tube. But this is in the gaseous state, it is water vapor. Now what will we do? Here we will provide one condenser. This condenser is nothing but one more glass tube with a bigger diameter, which is placed outside of the inner glass tube, and this condenser has two openings. Through the one opening, water enters inside. This water enters inside through this opening. Through this tap, water will enter and it will circulate around the inner glass tube. This water will not enter into the inner glass tube. It will only circulate around the inner glass tube, and that water, due to the presence of the water, this water vapor which is inside the inner glass tube, it will get condensed. Means due to this water which is circulating around the inner glass tube, this water inside the inner glass tube, it will get condensed. In condensation, water vapor again get converted into water droplets. So this condensed water vapor converted into the form of water, and we can collect that water droplets in that flask or in this vessel, and that water which become hot after the condensation, then this water can be taken out. So here written water out, water in. So this bigger glass tube, it is called as the condenser, and here we have one more glass tube with smaller diameter. It is called as the inner glass tube. So water cannot enter from inner glass tube to outer glass tube. So when we heat the mixture of salt and water, only water will get evaporate, and that water we can collect here and salt remain here. Means we obtain both salt here present in the distillation flask and water it is present into this vessel or the beaker. So by the distillation process, we can separate the mixture of salt and water, solid and liquid, but in distillation we can obtain the solute as well as the solvent from the solution. In evaporation we only get the solute. In distillation we obtain both. So this is the last method for separation of solid and liquid.